Good afternoon, students. Today we will discuss some three topics. Okay, so we will discuss three topics. First one is Ritz-Rydberg combination principle. Okay, so first one is Ritz-Rydberg combination principle. So here we learn about the Ritz-Rydberg combination principle. Okay, so here when electrons are excited to fourth state. Okay, so if these are the energy levels, first energy level, second energy level, third and fourth. We are taking an example. If electrons, if electrons are some electrons are present lower energy level. Okay, if you apply external energy to this atom, automatically electrons are moving lower energy level to higher energy level. Okay, higher energy level. Okay, the lifespan of electrons on the higher energy level is very low, that is only 10 power minus 8 seconds. Okay, within 10 power minus 8 seconds, after that electrons are moving lower energy levels. Okay, so here point is when electrons are moving fourth level to first level, so then we get the Lyman series. Okay, what it means? Lyman, Balmer, Paschen, Brackett, Pound series. We have different types of spectral series. Okay, Lyman series is nothing but fourth to one or second to one or third to one, second to one. Okay, so mainly here point is electrons are automatically jumping or moving fourth energy level to first energy level. This is the first point. Next point is our electrons are moving fourth to 3, 3 to 2 and 2 to 1. Okay, this is the second process. Okay, once again I am repeating same point. So when electrons are moving lower energy level to higher energy level, the lifespan of electrons on the higher energy level is very low, 10 power minus 8 second. After that time, automatically electrons are jumping higher energy level to lower energy level. So here these electrons takes two processes. First process is nothing but electrons directly jumping from fourth energy level to first level, or first to fourth to third, third to second and to second to one. Okay, so in this way, electrons are moving. So next we know that the total energy of the system always same. Okay, the total energy remains same. Okay, so here another point is the sum of frequencies of last three lines will be equal to the frequency of third line of Lyman series. Okay, so here we should remember this point. The sum of frequencies of last three lines will be equal to frequency of line of Lyman series. Okay, so here we will get the different combinations. Electrons are moving fourth level to first level, or fourth to third, third to second, or second to first. Okay, in this way we will get the different combination. Okay, so here we will see this formula. So here so example, if you take so here VL1. So VL, what it means? VL1 nothing but frequency of first line of Lyman series. Once again I will explain Lyman and Balmer, Paschen, Brackett and Pound series. Okay, so these are the energy level diagrams. So when electrons are moving, so here last energy level to first level, or this level to first level, or this level to first level, or this level to first level. In this way, so all higher energy levels, electrons are moving higher energy level to first level. Then we get the Lyman series. Okay, then we get the Lyman series. If electrons are moving higher energy level to second energy level, okay, higher energy level to second, then we get the Balmer series. If higher energy levels electrons are moving higher energy level to third, then we get the Paschen. So here fourth, Brackett. Fifth energy level, Pound series. Okay, in this way we will get the spectral series. We will get the different spectral series. So here VL1. So VL1 is nothing but frequency of first line of Lyman series. Okay, so frequency of first line of Lyman series. VL2, frequency of second line of Lyman series. Okay, frequency of second line of Lyman series. So here VB1 nothing but, so after Lyman series we get the Balmer series. So Balmer series, frequency of first line of Balmer series. Okay, so here point is, if you draw like this, okay, so here this is a first energy level, second energy level, third level. Okay, so electrons are so moving VL1. So here this so this one represents VB1, first energy level of Balmer series. Okay, first energy level of Balmer series. So here this one represents second to first VL1 or new L1. So new L1 is nothing but frequency of first line of Lyman series. Okay, so here it is nothing but the combination of VL1 plus VB2 is nothing but VL2 or new L2. Okay, so new L2 is nothing but the frequency of second line of Lyman series. So this is this line represents new L2. Okay, so this line represents new L2 is nothing but, see this diagram, from this we can write new L2 is nothing but new L1 plus new B1. Once again repeating same point, new L1 is nothing but frequency of first line of Lyman series, new L2 nothing but frequency second line of Lyman series, VB1 frequency of first line of Lyman series. So this combination, this principle is nothing but we call as a Ritz-Rydberg combination principle. Okay, so Ritz-Rydberg combination principle. Okay, this is a new L2, it is nothing but it is a combination, so addition of new L1 plus VB2. Okay, and we can write like this. So we can write in terms of wave number also, we can write it new L1 plus new B1 bar. Okay, new L1 bar plus new B1 bar is equal to new L2 bar. Okay, and next point is, this principle is valid for frequencies and wave numbers only, not for wavelength. Okay, you should remember this point. This principle valid for frequency and wave number but not for wavelength. Okay, and next one is the Bohr's correspondence principle. So here what is a Bohr's correspondence principle? So here orbital frequency of electron revolving in nth stationary orbit is given by, so in previous classes we discussed this formula, orbital frequency. Okay, actually frequency is represented by nu. Okay, so orbital frequency is equal to 1 by n cube m e power 4 epsilon square into h cube. Okay, this frequency, orbital frequency, we studied in last class. Okay, this is the frequency of orbital frequency of orbital. Okay, so here according to electromagnetic theory, what it tells, when electrons are moving around the circular orbit, it radiates the energy. Okay, so it radiates the energy in the form of electromagnetic wave. Okay, once again repeating same point, when electrons are moving in a circular orbit with some frequency, radiates energy in the form of electromagnetic waves of frequency nu. Okay, so if you take Bohr's atomic model, according to Bohr's atomic model, when electrons are jumping from stationary orbit to lower state m, so automatically it emits a radiation. Okay, according to Bohr's, when electrons are jumping, so n state to m state, so it emits the radiation. How much radiation it emits? So this is the formula for radiation. Last class only we discussed this formula. Okay, so this is orbital frequency. According to Bohr, this is a formula for radiation. Okay, so this is a formula for emitted radiation. So here we divide to these terms, V orbital by V Bohr is equal to V orbital formula, this one, substitute here, V Bohr formula here. If you simplify, we will get this formula, 2 by n cube m square n square by n plus 1 n minus 1. Okay, so here n is very large, so compared to m, n is very large, nothing but, so we can write n minus m is equal to 1, or approximately will take n is approximately equal to m. Okay, so n is approximately equal to m. So here when we substitute n is equal to m, finally we get this formula. Okay, so we are nu orbital by nu Bohr is equal to, we will get this formula. What it means? So here this is the meaning of last formula. So this is the meaning of last formula. I mean, so here for large quantum numbers, the quantum theory arrives at the same results as a arrived classical theory in physics. Okay, so here point is for large quantum number. So here electron transition in atom is approximately the same as frequency of radiation as per classical theory. So large quantum, ikkada em chepta unnadu, large quantum numbers. So n is principal quantum number. When n is equal to large values ki ఇది దీని రేడియేషన్ క్లాసికల్ థియరీ ఎంత రేడియేషన్ వస్తుందని చెప్పిందో, సో ఇది కూడా దానికి ఈక్వల్ అవుతుందని ఎక్స్ప్లెయిన్ చేశారు అన్నట్టు. ఓకే, సో దిస్ ఇస్ ద ఫైనల్ కన్క్లూజన్ ఆఫ్ దిస్ Bohr's correspondence principle. Okay, what is the Bohr's correspondence principle statement? It is nothing but, so here for large quantum numbers, quantum theory arrives at the same results as arrived by classical theory in physics. So this statement is called as a Bohr's correspondence principle. Okay, and next we will discuss about the limitation of Bohr's theory. So what are the limitations? Nothing but drawbacks or failures of the Bohr's theory. So Bohr's theory was able to explain number of experimental observed facts and correctly predict spectral lines of hydrogen, neutral hydrogen and single ionized helium atom. Okay, so Bohr explained about the principal quantum number. Okay, he gives more information about the atom, but he failed some area. Okay, so he didn't give some complete information about the atom, so he failed some areas. So here we will discuss about the failures of Bohr's principle theory. Okay, first failure. So here the first failure or first drawback of the Bohr's theory, so they could not account the spectra of atoms more complex than hydrogen. Okay, hydrogen is nothing but what is atomic number 1 only. So above the more complex atoms, this Bohr atom not able to explain. This is the first failure. Okay, if you take the lithium or carbon or nitrogen, so this Bohr theory is not able to explain the complex atoms. Okay, so above the hydrogen atom, this is the first failure. And second failure, that theory does not give any information regarding the distribution and arrangement of electrons in atom. So this theory not able to give the how the electrons are arranging in orbits. So what are the distribution and arrangement of electrons? Okay, so this is the second failure of Bohr's atom. Okay, so according to Bohr, so Bohr is not able to give the information about the distribution and arrangement of electrons in orbit. So this is the second failure. And third failure, so here, so Bohr not able to explain the observation, so not able to explain the variation in intensity of a spectral series, okay, in an element. So some variations are occur, so he could not explain the variations in intensity of spectral lines. So spectral lines ఉన్నప్పుడు, spectral lines ఇలా మనకు ప్రొడ్యూస్ అయినప్పుడు వీటి మధ్యలో ఇంటెన్సిటీలో వేరియేషన్స్ ఉన్నాయి. ఎందుకు ఇంటెన్సిటీలో వేరియేషన్స్ తేడా ఉన్నాయి అనేది సో బోర్స్ థియరీ ఎక్స్ప్లెయిన్ చేయలేకపోయింది. And next fourth, so this theory could not use to calculate about the transition from one level to another, such as rate at which they occur or selection rules which apply to them. Okay, so fourth point, so this theory not able to explain the transition from one level to another level. At what rate electrons are moving higher energy level to lower energy level. Higher energy నుంచి lower energy level electrons ఎలా వస్తున్నాయి, వాటి యొక్క రేట్ ఎన్ని వస్తున్నాయి అనేది ఇది ఎక్స్ప్లెయిన్ చేయలేకపోయింది. అండ్ నెక్స్ట్ ఫిఫ్త్ పాయింట్, దిస్ థియరీ ఫెయిల్ ఫర్ అకౌంటింగ్ ద ఫైన్ స్ట్రక్చర్ ఆఫ్ స్పెక్ట్రల్ సిరీస్. ఓకే, ఇఫ్ యూ టేక్ ద స్పెక్ట్రల్ సిరీస్ సమ్ లైన్, సో యాక్చువల్లీ ఇఫ్ యూ అబ్జర్వ్ విత్ సమ్ హై resolving power microscope, so actual thing is this spectral line is contain number of small spectral lines. okay, but this one not able to explain by the Bohr's. Okay, so this is called as a fine structure. Fine structure is nothing but so this one spectral line is divide into number of fine spectral lines. So that is called as a fine structure. ఒక స్పెక్ట్రల్ లైన్ తీసుకుంటే సో హై రెజల్యూషన్ పవర్ మైక్రోస్కోప్తో చూసినప్పుడు దీంట్లో యాక్చువల్లీ చిన్న చిన్న స్పెక్ట్రల్ లైన్స్ దగ్గరగా సమ్ గ్యాప్స్తోనే ఉంటాయి అన్నట్టు. సో ఇది దిస్ ఈస్ కాల్డ్ as a fine structure. So fine structure of spectral series. So this one is not explained by the Bohr's. And so next this theory cannot be used for quantitative explanation of the chemical bonding. Okay, so this theory not able to explain about the chemical bonding. And next this theory fails to give correct result when electron so if you take the atom when we put some electric field or magnetic field in the atom. So when we put atom in the electrical and magnetic field, so actually these lines are divided into number of lines. Okay, so why these lines are divided or separated number of lines in the presence of electric and magnetic field? So this point is not explained by the Bohr's theory. Okay, so this point is not explained by the Bohr's theory. If we apply electric field, so automatically one spectral line is divided into number of spectral lines. So this effect we call as a Stark effect. And if you apply magnetic field, this line is divided into a number of lines. So this effect we call as a Zeeman effect. You should remember Stark and Zeeman effect. When we put atom in the electric field, one spectral line is divided into number of spectral lines. That effect we call a Stark effect. When we put atom in the magnetic field, one spectral line is divided into number of spectral lines. So that effect we call as a Zeeman effect. So these Stark and Zeeman effects were not explained by the Bohr's theory. Actually these are the failures of the Bohr's theory. Okay, so this is the information about this topic. Thank you.